do you want to be seen, not just as an individual, but also as a facility management engineering department inside the bank in driving sustainability?
It's a very nice question, frankly speaking.
In this episode of the Green Minds podcast, we sit down with Abdul Hamid Aljabri, Senior Manager of Group Facilities Management at Emirates NBD. With the UAE's facilities management market projected to surge past 140 billion dirhams by 2030, the race is on to create smarter, greener and healthier spaces. Abdul Hamid shares Emirates NBD's strategic view of sustainability in FM, why certifications like LEED and SD-DAMA really matter, and how technology, from information of technology to predictive maintenance, is reshaping the way buildings perform.
The motivation that drives this is the belief. The belief in FM can bring sustainability real on ground. And these ambitions drives the FM practices, and it pushes to give the power to that to become real achievement.
It's actually exciting times to be part of, because we are at that inflection point at the moment. People are starting to really realize that you have to do something in your day-to-day operations to make a change. Welcome, Abdul Hamid. How are you?
Hi, good morning. Thank you for inviting me today for this pod session.
Today, I actually thought I want to invite a guest actually on the client side of FM for a change, because I think it's always sort of like a mystery. How do clients go about facility management here in the UAE? Now, Emirates NBD, obviously, a vast network of branches, offices. When you look at the industry, how FM is developing here over the last couple of years, and it is now reaching 21 billion, I believe, and growing to around 30 billion in the next 4 or 5 years. What do you see sort of like in FM are the front runners and the laggards a little bit?
It's very interesting having the facilities management practices, especially in UAE, as well will show the leaders' efforts, how they are running it. Adding a point that I believe clients having a different perspective in the running roles than the service provider side. So to complete the picture is that all the leaders from the both sides are looking to maintain the best practices of facilities management in the market. So they look always at set KPIs. They agree on a set KPIs and they follow the same. Where also this gives also a demand through the using other systems, which will elaborate into doing the analysis and diagnosis to the results. The same is there. Once the leaders are focusing on these diagnosis and analysis, they will be able to find out best practices to the staff and the customers, as well internal and external customers, and to give the right vibes and performance to the buildings. Looking from the other factor as on the other side for the life asset span, and this plays a very big role in the time of consumption of energy, and how to maintain it with less breakdowns, which will impact more energies and cost impacts. And the FM side, so basically to simplify it, it's looking at the energy efficiency as well the cost efficiency from the other side, meeting the equation of best practices and for the staff and the customers.
Green Minds is where industry leaders and innovators talk about what's next in sustainability. Sorry to interrupt the show, but if you want to know more about sustainability, make sure you hit subscribe. When you design the facility management and sustainability strategies within Emirates NBD, what are sort of like the key pillars for the organization for you to incorporate?
Very interesting question. The pillars of Emirates NBD. We look at the energy and we find out how to reduce the energy consumption. Following to that, we start to support that with solar plants. As of today, we are having a 418 kilowatt peak solar plants, and we're aiming for more. We're having some locations that giving full power to the grid and extra power than what is expected. We aim from there, and then we start to support this with other systems and softwares, like upgrading the BM system, building management systems, to see the health of the buildings and the energy flow. Yet we are upgrading. Recently, we have approached to upgrade all our HVACs, especially like the same like what we mentioned, the life asset span, which is the absolute ones. We have implemented that, so it will bring the best practices with best efficiencies and best readings. And then from there, we also keep lead as a standard, and we embed it in our daily practices. So starting from the service provider running the PPMs, the planned preventive maintenance, and doing predictive maintenance, they will be able to achieve the targets which we set it, going backward to the KPIs and looking at the systems.
Yeah. And was there a specific reason why you, Emirates NBD, chose LEED as the certification to put it central to the strategy, or have you looked at others as well?
We are looking at other certifications than LEED. All these certifications works on one base, which is the best environment and healthy buildings to the people and the planet for the next generations. And we follow these practices. It's not only LEED. We are having other certifications that we are working on. But LEED came. We followed mostly LEED, basically, because we have given a focus on one area as a first go. And I would say that we have done a very great achievement through our working in parallel with the lead of the construction team. The engineering team. Because we are under the Department of Engineering and Facilities Management. So we were able to achieve 30 platinum branches and 20 gold branches, which makes Emirates NBD as the first global rank bank branches certified LEED.
Oh, that is actually quite an accomplishment, I guess.
Yes.
And is that to maintain LEED certification, and certainly when you go for platinum, which is the highest level that you can get, to maintain that level, is that complicated? Or once you have basically set your internal processes, and I guess it is again measuring the KPIs and showing the improvements, that is the most important component. How?
LEED and other certifications gives the minimum baselines and the high performance baselines. And when you have a roadmap with data analysis, you will be able to analyze your next steps. So, for example, from the other side, we have reached up to implementing 55 EV chargers within our portfolio, as well the 30 platinum and the 20 gold, plus the 418 solar plant which we have implemented. We are following the steps and we are following the books into setting our targets. And when you have the data, you will be able to analyze and to see what exactly, how you will be able to treat your asset from the time of procurement to the journey of operation and to the time of disposal. So we also ensure from the end, through the whole journey, we ensure that even the disposal to be part of the set KPIs on the service provider to generate the right sustainability formula.
And how does that tie into, for example, the net zero 2050 goals that the government has set? Because obviously Emirates NBD, public company, much in our daily lives, I'm sure that to connect to that strategy is extremely important as well. How does that sort of like tie in, and is LEAD helping in achieving those goals?
Yes. We have achieved also from the other side a 20% reduction from 2019 to 2024. And this was just adding a focus on the high asset and or the usable energy parts, which are the HVACs and the lightings. So through this upgrade, we were able to start the journey a bit earlier, and it really helped. From there, we started to implement more solar plants, and as I mentioned it earlier, that we are targeting how to make a building to be efficient, giving a grid back to 40% of its what they call power, utilization power.
So you're basically giving excess power back to the grid,
Yes.
To DEWA, or whatever.
As of today, we're having one location, but we are working into this set plan. And in order to cover the full portfolio which we are covering now.
So when you look at the role of facility management in this entire process, because ultimately I think when you look at a building's life cycle, the biggest cost is during operations at the end of the day. How does facility management, in your opinion, help basically achieve ambitious goals towards net zero ultimately? And what type of practical sort of actions does your team foster inside the organization?
Yes. We focus on reducing the energy. And in order to achieve the part of reducing the energy, you need to have more predictive maintenance and to keep following the flow of the asset itself. When you achieve that, you will be able to go to the next factor, which is water. So we work also on that element of thinking of how to treat the water, because the water is the second important element, especially in this region, after the energy. Yet we keep the SLA KPIs clear. So we follow one book, which is setting the clear KPIs and SLAs with the service provider. And we ensure that they are reaching this to the end, to the part of the disposals. So we try to cover the full journey on day-to-day basis in order to bring the best practices.
So when you, from a client perspective, you have a vast network of buildings. Sometimes the branches are obviously inside new buildings. Sometimes there are more legacy setups. How do you sort of like marry all those different environments with the requirements of today, basically, when you set out basically the KPIs for various facility management companies that you work with?
Yes. LEAD plays also a hidden role in that. So LEAD sets the baseline for FM from the time of engineering and construction until the journey of the contracting and the SLA KPIs on the servicing level from FM side. So what we do in order to control old legacies and new legacies and different types of branches through a huge portfolio, we try to use elements such as upgrading the BMS, the building management systems, supporting it with sensors, so they would give the accurate reading. Following to that, we also try to add more softwares such as EV charger softwares, solar plant softwares. So from there, we will be able to move forward to covering the impacts, which will be predictive as well towards the service and the maintenance which happens on ground on daily basis. Yeah. So I believe with that we are covering the full picture of maintaining the buildings, and to give a fair analysis between an old legacy and the new legacy. Following to that, also adding to this point, when we look at the old legacy, we always have a problem that linking it to the new practices in the market, especially softwares. A couple of years back, softwares were not able to integrate to read each other. But today, there is an integration. So we look at the old ones, we work into implementing, as mentioned, like HVAC, new HVAC systems, building management systems, adding meters, more meters, to compile and to generate, to adapt it, to make it adapted, to read the systems, the new systems. And we try as much as we can, we get reading from it. These systems, and from the BMS to the software and the sensors, these will be able to give more reading and to give a fair comparison between new legacies and especially the new and old lifespan assets, as well the small and large branches.
And do you take, based on those data sets, then make the decisions to replace certain systems? Like you were mentioning HVAC. Obviously, when you buy an HVAC system, it typically should have a lifespan of around 25 years, or hopefully even a little bit more than that. Do you trigger retrofitting requirements based on those data inputs, or are there other variables that you also use?
Yes. As of today, we have reached up to analyzing each and every asset from MEP to QHSE, and to see, to have it tagged, to be captured in the system, and to see the lifespan of that. So before the end of cycle of that asset, we will be able to prepare our business case study with a clear roadmap and ROIs.
Yeah.
And then from there, we tackle with it, and we go back, and then we take the decision, a clear decision into replacing. So recently we have replaced 12 chillers in a time, just until Q1 of this year, of 2025. We were able to replace 12 chillers. Chillers, maybe we're talking about chillers a lot and HVAC systems, but in such region, having a cool vibes and right environment plays a role, where HVAC is the hidden lead of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it definitely is one of, besides being one of the largest energy consumers inside buildings, it is obviously also driving indoor comfort. So for employees and customers, I guess.
Exactly.
Quite
as
key.
Well as the second part, which is the lighting.
Yeah.
So we started, as mentioned, from 2019 to replace all the old light practices. And then we started to embed the new light, from choosing the warm light to the level of voltage and then we were able to reduce the 20% overall during that period, from 2019 to 24.
When you work with the different stakeholders, obviously you are the stakeholder from an operational perspective. Yes. The company is a stakeholder, of course, from an investment perspective around the assets. But you also have, obviously, in the execution part, I'm talking about the facility management providers that are appointed as stakeholders as well. What type of innovation do you expect from your partners to actually come up with during a contract period? Is that an important component of the relationship?
Yes. As we set rules on KPIs to meet the global standards of certifications, we also work close to our service providers and to set closed sessions into how to implement new and adapting technologies from the market. So we have the insight to get closer to the service provider, knowing that the service provider are wider than a client in the market and expanding more. So they always bring the right practices, and year on year, we work closely with them to have the part of the roadmap and the directions where we get their insights. If we change this, that would be better. This is the right place and this is the right time to get these practices. And all about the technologies basically. And we have done a lot of workshops with certain service providers, the leading one in our contract and the portfolio. And it was very effective. And this keeps the relationship healthy than being just from a client side to a service provider side, because both of them, as leading the maintenance and the MEPs overall, they are running after the same target with a certain set KPIs.
Yeah, and I think the client, the service provider, and ultimately the end client, your customer, we all have the same objective at the end of the day to create a more sustainable environment and actually live and work in healthy buildings at the end of the day. And that is a big spread of different tasks that need to happen. So when I look at the UAE market, certainly from a facilities management perspective, actually the UAE is a front runner in many aspects, and part of it being driven obviously in the environment that we operate in, which is not easy. When you look at sort of like the, say, near future, what sort of technologies or practices do you identify as becoming more and more important to further develop and ultimately, again, achieve the goal of becoming net zero?
The new practice that will be coming in the future practices, it will be the digital twin. Digital twin gives there will be a huge demand now on the digital twin, because you will be able, from the analysis that the building will be able to read and to hold as a database, you will be able to replicate a scenario to that building, and you can set targets before doing the business case, all the exercises, what's happening now manually, we would say, or in the old stages, what we are running now, ROIs, daily practices to the users and the staff, or to the customers themselves. The digital twin will be able to replicate for you a building, and you can do changes from the HVAC to the lighting, if you reduce, if you increase, and then it will give you the full analysis before you implement it and you impact or interrupt the operation itself.
Yeah, so you basically run scenarios.
Yes, it's like a demo, a kind of a demo is there. You are adjusting things to it based on your expectations. And then before implementing it or starting the roadmap, you will be able to see the targets a step ahead.
And you do this with new building developments only, or do you do this especially also with the older assets where retrofitting may be a requirement?
Mostly this will come in the future. I believe it will an easy adapt to the new buildings first. Until you work on the old buildings, and then you put the right elements to it, like sensors and upgrading the BMS. BMS the building management system plays a big role into collecting all the sensors data. So if you are able to do that, or you put the new assets which has already system readings and set meters to connect easily to the building management system, yes, I believe there would be a good chance maybe to set the digital twins to it.
And do you believe that artificial intelligence, machine learning in combination with the BMS as it is today, and maybe making use of digital twin as well, will become an important tool, if I may say it like that, actually. But
Yeah, AI is the demand these days, and I would say yes. AI systems also will be able to analyze and to read and to give expectations. Now, looking at the market with the running softwares now, there are already computer aided systems has been directed to able to analyze and to predict any faulties on the daily basis. So going for an example, during the maintenance, there is a blockage or something has been indicated from a technical wise, it will give you suggestions and options what might be needed to be done. So that will reduce the time frame as well will help in the cost efficiency. So AI will be a one-step implementation which will collect all these and will be under the same platform. So tomorrow, when you come to the building, you will be able to talk to the building.
yeah,
And then it will give you the full database and what is required as a next step. This reduce in the workmanship and increase the cost efficiency.
now I guess that in today's world, we are all very focused on working, living in healthy environments. How do you believe facility management plays a role actually in driving a healthy building from an occupant perspective? Because studies indicate that our cognitive performance in healthy buildings is dramatically higher, up to about 26%, as opposed to buildings where indoor environments are not that great. How do you see your role as a facility management department division inside a large structure to drive that?
From FM and the engineering side, in the time when starting to implement a new innovation or uplifting or construction project, the studies starts even from the light consumption, the light level consumption, and how many voltage, and then up to the full data driven to the customer satisfaction and the performance and the lifespan of these assets. So that's where also the certifications criteria plays a role into defining this. So having a healthy building from the certifications, they will be able to from the certification criteria, they will be able. They are already actually has done this baseline from checking from the air quality, the cognitive test, which is very important as a result from all the implementation and the HVAC and the energy consumption itself during the daily usage.
Yeah. So obviously, so energy being a very big one. You talked a little bit about water consumption also. How does it work in a bank? Water consumption. What do I need to see with that?
Water consumption now is the second element that we are working on. So we are calculating year on year on the stuff base, how much is the stuff is using, or even through the customers, how much they are using as a water consumption from there. Yet we try to implement and embed new small parts and technologies like from the water aerators and other technical parts to reduce the consumption of the water. Following to that also, we also try to do sessions with and to engage our staff through workshops in order to spread the knowledge. So that would help also not only from a technical part, but also to engage the customer themselves.
And do you do specific things with regards to the waste streams that you have inside the bank?
As of today, we are doing a segregation. We are able to analyze building-wise, floor-wise, the segregation of waste. As well, we are now avoiding to take the waste to the landfill, and it goes all to energy now.
Okay.
And we started to do the calculation of that to see how this is really effective in order to meet the national targets of UAE Net Zero 2050.
Yeah. Yeah, because waste is obviously something it's big. Yeah. It is and also something where we can really make some big strides, I feel as well. How do you want to be seen, and not just as an individual, but also as a facility management engineering department inside the bank? How do you want to be seen in driving sustainability?
Having a solar plant of 418 kilowatt peak is one of the major aspects that we are working closely to show it as a bank. From the engineering side, they have done a great efforts on and following to handle by the facilities management in the running business to have the 30 platinum and 20 gold certificates, which is a great achievement. We also try to reach to have. It's very nice actually to see your building running with a 40% load on solar plant, right? One day, and if you would be able to have that saving of 8 to 10% over the years, covering from solar itself, you would be able to cover the full portfolio. So FM and engineering is not just implementing things on site. They are looking at the journey and the efficiency and the enjoyment to their staff and customers.
Yeah, and I think as it is in many companies, what happens behind the scenes and is not very visible is not always being appreciated as much as it should be, I guess. Yes. But 40% redirecting your energy load to solar is not a small feat. It's a big one.
Yes. Also, adding to that as of today, we are also able to, only from the HVAC, we would be able to save like 24% of the energy. So for having the solar working in different elements, 24% plus the solar 418 as well, the 55 EV chargers. These makes a huge road drive to the net zero 2050. If we go back to the same question, yes. Yeah.
So as a person, what makes you tick in that whole sustainability discussion? What drives you?
The motivation that drives this is the belief. The belief in FM. FM is a back-end running rule which looks at every tiny thing in the building, and they look at the efficiency. So looking from FM aspect, as Abdul Hamid first, I would say that yes, we are already motivated, and we have a belief that FM can bring sustainability real on ground. From Emirates NBD side, they have a huge ambition into setting these targets of the net zero, for example, 2050, the national UAE net zero 2050. And these ambitions drives the FM practices, and it pushes to give the power to that to become real achievement.
Yeah. And I guess it's actually exciting times to be part of, because we are at that inflection point at the moment. People are starting to really realize that you have to do something in your day-to-day operations to make a change. For you, what does it mean to have a green mind?
It's a very nice question, frankly speaking. Okay, what does it mean to have a green mind? Is to see the building performing on daily basis with the FM leaders in the market, looking at the healthy environment and how to make this really running well without any impacts to the users on ground. The enjoyment is to basically look at the enjoyment and the satisfaction of the users at the end. So FM runs 24/7, and we work. I always say we work when people rest. So FM really runs very well, and their achievements is just to enjoy, and at the same time implementing and adapting new things to the users and to the health of the users and the next generations, without making them feel during that journey.
Abdul Hamid, thank you very much for this conversation.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear.
Don't miss the next big conversation about sustainability. Hit subscribe.